Ayun bro, so bago tayo magpunta sa projectile motion, i-recall muna natin yung formulas natin sa constant acceleration. So equations for motion with constant acceleration. Ito yung mga equation natin. Equation or in short, yung mga original formulas natin. Na-derive din to nung nag-discuss sa ma'am noon, pero hindi ko na i-discuss kasi alam ko nasa notes mo to. Final velocity is equal to initial velocity plus acceleration times time. Ayun. So, ang missing quantity doon is yung delta x. Delta x kasi x minus x sub o. Diba? Final distance, final displacement minus initial. Tapos, another equation. Delta x or x minus x sub o is equal to initial velocity times time plus 1/2 of acceleration times time squared. So, ang missing quantity naman dito yung final velocity. Next is yung final velocity squared is equal to initial velocity squared plus twice the acceleration times delta x or yung x minus x sub o. Ang missing quantity naman dito yung time. So next is delta x or x minus x sub o is equal to 1/2 of initial velocity plus final velocity times time. Missing quantity doon yung acceleration. Next naman na equation, delta x or x minus x sub o is equal to vt or final velocity times time minus 1/2 of acceleration times time squared. Ang missing quantity natin is initial velocity. Okay, so ito naman yung mga formulas natin sa projectile motion bro. Motion with constant acceleration. Final velocity is equal to initial velocity plus gt, gravity times time. Bakit nasama yung gravity dito? Kasi meron na tayo ng value ng y. Pataas na tayo, so meron ng gravity doon. Another is yung sa displacement naman. X is equal to initial velocity times time plus 1/2 at squared. Acceleration times time squared. Hindi natin gagamitin ng gravity dito since acceleration siya, since x siya meaning horizontal. Next dito sa x component of flight. Yung flight yung mismong curve yung projectile nung flight. Value of acceleration of x is 0. And yung initial velocity of x is equal to VO cosine theta. Initial velocity cosine theta. Vx is equal to Vo plus axt, meaning final velocity of x is equal to initial velocity plus acceleration of x times time. So, since 0 yung acceleration natin ng x, ang mangyayari na lang dito is Vx or final velocity of x is equal to initial velocity times cosine theta kasi 0 times time is 0 na yan. Then Vo is equivalent niya ay Vo cosine theta. Next, x is equal to initial velocity of x times time plus 1/2 of acceleration of x times time squared. So, since 0 na naman to, cancel out na naman yan. So, ang lalabas na lang is x is equal to initial velocity cosine theta times time. Ayan. So, sa y component of flight naman tayo. Y component of flight, acceleration of y is negative g. Bakit negative g? Negative gravity kasi ang movement ng gravity is pababa. So, ang value niya is negative. Ayan. Since cosine na yung kanina dito sa x, ang gagamitin naman nating value sa y is sine. If and only if yung angle natin ay nakabase sa horizontal. I-recall mo dun sa may vector natin bro para maalala mo kung bakit sine yung ginagamit kapag y. Ayan. Another is yung flight y component of flight. Ito, yung movement ng y. Y is equal to initial velocity of y times time plus 1/2 of acceleration of y times time squared. Or, substitute natin, y is equal to Vo sin theta times time. Kasi yung Voy is equal to Vo sin theta. Ito yun, Vo sin theta. Times time, ayun, time. Minus, naging negative na yan kasi yung value ng gravity natin is negative. Ayun, negative. Times time squared, kaya naging negative na yan. Ayun. Example natin. The ball is kicked from point A with the initial velocity of 10 meters per second at an angle of 30 degrees. Determine the maximum height it reaches. Ayun, so ito na yung figure. A ball is kicked from point A. Ito yung point A. So, initial velocity is 10 meters per second. Ito yung vector niya. Pataas, 30 degrees. Kasi sabi doon, at an angle of 30 degrees. So, assume natin na ito yung maximum height niya. Assume natin na point B yun. So, ang final velocity natin dito ay 0. Or pwede rin natin siyang sabihin, V, B, Y equals 0. VBY kasi final velocity of B. 'Di ba? 0 ang final velocity natin kasi na-reach niya yung maximum height, yung pinakatuktok. 'Di ba? Nagiging 0 ang velocity pag na-reach na yung pinakatuktok. Ayun. So, ang gagamitin nating formula dito, bro, ay kung meron ka nung formula sa free fall. So, ang missing quantity dito ay time. 'Di ba? Walang given na time. So, ang formula na gagamitin natin based dun sa free fall natin ay itong pangatlo. V squared is equal to initial velocity squared plus 2gy. Di ba? Walang time. So, ito ang gagamitin natin. Sulat natin dito. Ayan. So, ililipat lang natin yung mga values natin. Itong V squared magiging VBY. VBY squared equals VO squared is itong VA. VAY. AY squared. Tapos, plus 2gy. So, since ang gravity natin is negative, magiging negative din yan. Negative 2g. Pero yung y natin, assume natin na yung y is yung h na. I-substitute natin yung value. I mean yung pagpapalitin natin sila kasi pareho lang naman ito na y kasi patayo. So, meron na tayo ng original na formula. Ang gagawin na lang natin is mag-substitute ng value. So, ang value ng VBY is equal to 0. So, cancel out. Cancel out natin yon. 0 is equal to VAY squared. VAY squared minus 2GH. Ayan. So, 0 dito, itatranspose na lang natin yung isa. Di ba? So, yung negative na yun, pag tinranspose mo dito, magiging positive. 2GH is equal to VAY squared. So, ang hinahanap lang natin, yung height. Di ba? Height lang ang hinahanap natin. So, ang gagawin natin, di-divide natin both sides ng 2G. Divide by 2G. Cancel out, cancel out. So, ang mangyayari, height, ang magiging formula ng height natin ay height is equal to VAY squared is equal to 2G. Ayun, so medyo hindi nakagitna yung equals natin. Alam ko papansinin nyo eh. So ngayon nakapag-derive na tayo ng formula which is height is equal to VAY squared over 2G. So ang VAY natin ay ito, di ba? VAY. So ang magiging value ng VAY natin ay VAY. Since nasa y siya, ang gagamitin natin is sine. Kasing angle natin, naka-base siya sa horizontal. So, ang mangyayari ngayon, VO sine theta over 2G. Bakit VO sine theta? Kasi yung initial velocity natin is ito, VO. So, ang substitution nito, height is equal to VO 10 meter per second times sine theta over twice the 9.8 meter per second squared. Kasi acceleration yan. So, 9.8 meter per second squared ang gagamitin natin since ang unit din ng velocity sa taas ay meter per second. So, kung i-input natin yan dito sa calculator, unahin muna natin nasa taas. Sin theta, sin 30, sorry. Sin 30. So, pag input natin, 10 sin 30. Nalabas is 5. Height is equal to 5 meter per second. Divided by 2 times 9.8 is equal to 19.6. Since may squared pa doon, hindi pa yan tapos. Height is equal to 25 meter squared per second squared divided by 19.6 meter per second squared. So, magiging value niyan ay ito. Cancel yung isang meter doon. Cancel to. Cancel. Cancel. Height is equal to 25 divided by 19.6. Ang lalabas na value ay 1.275510.204. Round up na natin. Lalabas ay 1.28 meters. Ayan.